hi. Good to be speaking with you. What do you think is the most important monitorable for the market right now? Because the earnings season has been a bit sideways. Don't know what to expect from the budget. In context of that, do you anticipate a time-wise correction to continue in the near term?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me on your show. So yes, as you clearly outlined, we are in the midst of an
Market right
earnings
now because
season.
the earnings season has been a
We
bit
have
sideways.
Mr.
Don't know
Trump
what to expect from the
coming
budget.
up very
In
very
context
shortly,
of
less
that, do you
than next
anticipate a
maybe one
time-wise
week now,
correction to
and
continue
maybe
in the
what
near
kind of
term?
announcements that he makes, particularly on some of the tariffs and whatnot. So that's again going to be I think a very an important event to track for, and then of course budget, right? So there are quite a few events, I would say, and things that are going to pan out, including the quarterly results in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I think markets may remain a bit sidelined during this phase. Investors would like to get more clarity and be very sure where they want to invest, which sectors they want to allocate money incrementally. Yeah, from that perspective, yes. At the same time, I would also like to believe that the kind of the correction that we've seen in the overall broad markets and quite a few good company stock prices also, there are already some opportunities to keep on chipping in at every because some of the stocks have already come at very reasonable valuations, which was not the case till a quarter back. So I think there will be selective investing, but a big trend in terms of higher equity allocation will probably take some time in the mid of Feb.
Right. Hi, Sachin. Very good afternoon. This is Srishti also joining in. So you were just talking about that doesn't mean that there will not be any opportunities. So why don't you talk to us? What are the opportunities that you are looking at this point in time?
Sure. So, we believe that some of the private sector banking
Good
today
afternoon. This is
at the
Srishti
current
also
juncture
joining
are
in. So you were just
probably
talking
trading at
about
very
that it
reasonable
doesn't mean that
valuations.
there will not be any
There
opportunities. So
have
why don't you
been,
talk
I
to
would
us? What are
say,
the opportunities
particularly
that
the
you
leaders
are
in the
looking
private
at this
sector
point in
banking, I
time?
think the kind of the franchises that they have, the deposit growth that they are, the kind of the deposits that they are mobilizing is also very, very encouraging. So, and of course, the asset quality over there remains very, very decent. So the valuations have, I would say, there's been a decent amount of time value correction in the valuations in some of this private sector banking. So that's definitely one of the space that we are fairly optimistic about if you take the next 2 3 years perspective.
Okay, point taken. So that's the view coming in on certain these pockets which are doing well. What do you make of the pharma sector right now? Because that has seen quite a bit of re-rating. In fact, one of the best performing sectors last year, apart from real estate. Do you see a bit of a reversal in real estate and pharma, or do you think the momentum will continue in both of them? Okay, point taken. So that's the view coming in
See,
on
as far
certain
as
these pockets
pharmaceutical
which
is
are doing
concerned,
well.
I think
What do
it's
you make of the pharma
there are
sector right
multiple
now? Because that has
business
seen quite a
segments
bit of
within that.
re-rating.
There
It's
are
been one of the best
companies which
performing
cater to the
sectors last year,
domestic
apart from
pharma
real
segment. There are
estate.
companies which
Do you see
cater
a bit of a
largely to the
reversal
US
in real
generics
estate and
market.
pharma, or
There
do
are
you think the
companies which are
momentum
in
will continue
the
in both of them?
contract research and manufacturing, the CDMO space. There are companies which are now specializing into some of the specialty products for the global markets or the developed markets. So I think you will have to segment each by each. At least from our perspective, we are extremely positive on the CRAMS and the CDMO space. We believe that that's a secular trend for the next 3 5 10 years. Some of the companies over there have already established their I would say the credibility with the global customers, and they are doing humongous amount of capexes over the. I mean, they've been doing it for the last 10 years, but I think in the last 2 3 years, the kind of the capex acceleration that we have seen gives us confidence that the global customers are very serious about increasing their outsourcing from some of these companies in India. So that's definitely one space that we are very optimistic about. I think even some of the companies which have had a breakthrough in the specialty businesses in the developed markets, because which is a very, very high profitable market, a highly profitable segment, and it has a very high entry barriers. So companies which have already got some successes over there, I think they have a very high chance of building it even further and become a very formidable player over the next 5, 7, 10 years over there. So that's another space that we are fairly optimistic about. Coming to the real estate sector, I think the consumer sentiment over the in terms of the demand continues to still be fairly decent. If you see the volumes across most of the cities, at least the top 7, top 8 cities, continues to be fairly decent. Supply also continues to keep on coming on. So I think real estate overall also should do reasonably okay.
All right, that's the take on the pharma and the real estate pack. But Sachin, what about the consumption theme? Because there, the discretionary spending plays have definitely been doing better. Whether you see some of these white good manufacturers, other than that, the jewelry counters have been doing well, despite the fact that there has been surge in the gold prices. What's your take coming in on some of these jewelry plays, Sachin? Because I believe that you also hold some of these counters in your portfolio. The news flow around is not that great, but do you believe that the valuation comfort is there in the jewelry counters and there's a long runway of growth from these levels as well? What's your take coming in on some of these
Well, at
jewelry
least the
plays,
funds
Sachin?
or
Because I believe that
the
you
PMS
also hold
strategies
some of
that
these
I personally manage,
counters in your
we don't own any
portfolio.
of
The
these
news flow
jewelry
around is
businesses
not
at
that
this
great,
point in
but do
time.
you believe that the
But
valuation
there
is
are
there in
the
the jewelry
leaders in
counters
some
and
of these businesses have
there's
proven
a
over the
long
last
runway
two
of growth
decades that
from
they
these
have
levels as
got
well?
a fantastic value proposition compared to the unorganized market because it's a there's a clearly organized players in the unorganized market. All the listed guys are definitely the organized part of the organized market. So the shift from unorganized to organized has been happening as a secular trend over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And there is no reason to believe that that will not continue because there is clear value proposition from these organized players to the customers. And customers have now not only accepted it but embraced it. So incrementally, I think the young generation is very clear that they want to go to the organized players and do their purchases as far as the jewelry or some of those precious goods are concerned. So I think that trend will continue. Company specific, there will always be winners and losers. So one will have to be a little more selective over there.
Be selective, but the structural theme is something which is positive. Thanks, Sachin, for making time and speaking with us today. On that note, we'll take a breather on the show. Don't go anywhere. Lots lined up, and we